and welcome back to my channel. So this is my first video in the new place. What do you think of it from what you can see so far? I'm going to be doing a tour and a kind of how we got it to this point kind of video, but currently I want to talk about something else today because it's a video I've been wanting to make for a while, and there's been something about moving which inevitably means going through your belongings that I've been thinking about it a lot. That's why I want to talk about it. And the question is, when has minimalism gone too far, or can minimalism go too far? This flat is smaller than the one that we moved from, and that's great because we didn't need that much space. However, the things that I do have feel more cluttered in this smaller space, because in the last place everything I had was like really, spread out, and it felt very sparse in a way that I liked. However, here, because it's smaller, it feels like I have more things. And so the question has been, is it to do with the amount of stuff that I have? Or is it the fact that it's just a smaller space? Do I actually have more than I need? Am I going to have to change the amount of things I own because I live somewhere smaller? So I've been thinking a lot about the nature of minimalism and exactly how you can know if it is not helping you as much as it potentially could or should. So as you know, I'm not really a big fan of this idea that you should own this many things, or if you own more than 30 items of clothing, it's too, all this kind of thing. Like, I think as soon as you start applying numbers and start thinking of things quantitatively, you're kind of missing the point of minimalism. It's very much a simplicity, trimming the excess, only keeping what's needed in order to live a more peaceful and simple life, really. So I think as soon as you start adding the stress of numbers, it's like, no, that's not what we're doing here. Although having said that, that may work for other people as well. I don't want to tell other people what their minimalism is or isn't, but in my humble opinion, it's not the way to do things, but everyone's welcome to theirs as well. So with that in mind, I don't think it's possible to say, if you only own 5 things, then minimalism has gone too far, because you might very well get a lot of joy from only owning those 5 things, and that might suit your lifestyle perfectly. So with that being the case, how then do you know if minimalism has gone too far? I've come up with 2 explanations, 2 things to consider, and these are things I think I've fallen victim to. So there may be other ways of defining it, but in terms of my own personal journey, these are the 2 things that definitely ring the most true. And I've decided to call it, what was it? What did I call it? This is why you should plan your videos, Carmen. Crutch or identity. In fact, I think it would be better the other way around. Identity or crutch. That sounds better. Identity or crutch. So I'm going to start with crutch first, even though I made it the second one. I have had times where I've come home from a stressful day at work, or I'm just generally stressed, and I want to declutter. I want to get rid of something, because when I get rid of things, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like floaty and light and like a little bit of in control with my life. I get a really positive feeling from getting rid of stuff. And I often long for that when I am feeling a bit crap. So sometimes if I am stressed, I want to declutter to give me those good vibes, those good feelings of lightness and freedom and all those feelings that come with decluttering. And I think that is a slight warning sign that perhaps you're not minimizing for the right reasons. I think any positive feeling like that can end up being slightly addictive, maybe? Is that a bit too far? Possibly, but you can certainly long for that feeling and want that feeling back. So if you start to notice that your minimalism is becoming a crutch, it's something that you cling to in safety, or because of the good feelings, or there's just something about it that makes you feel in control, or if you start to feel like minimalism is rescuing you from another aspect of your life, then it might be worth reconsidering exactly why it is that you are a minimalist. So let's quickly talk about identity now. Now this is something I have explored in my own thoughts quite a lot, this idea of, before minimalism, identify myself in various ways that I needed to back up with the things that I own. So, you know, I liked bands, so I owned lots of band t-shirts, and I owned like loads of records and CDs and everything. Like, I liked having symbols of my identity around me and on my body, and I just wanted people to know who I was, and I wanted to feel like I had successfully become the label that I valued. And one of the best things of minimalism is that I learned that that wasn't the case. You know, I am me, and I don't have to be anything else. And if I am anything else, then I don't have to prove it by buying things. That was a really important thing to me. However, I have definitely noticed myself seeking value in the identity of minimalist. You know, I am a minimalist, and therefore I do this, I own that, blah, 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 this kind of thing. There's been times when I maybe have been considering decluttering something, or buying something, or making any sort of decision, to be honest. And I've kind of thought, like, you know, what would a minimalist do? Well, I'm a minimalist, so I'm going to make this decision because that's what a minimalist would do. And that's again missing the point. Again, it comes back to this idea of minimalism being a tool. And if you start to see it as an identity, then you're sort of straying from the main point. It is something that allows you to do other things. It is not the thing. It is not what makes you you. So if you just sort of blindly follow the rules of minimalism because you identify as a minimalist, because you see yourself as a minimalist, and you know that's what a minimalist would do, then it's not going to be a useful tool for you, because it's no longer a tool. It's like a set of rules, or like a dogma or something. One thing to mention as well is that I also think in the early days of a minimalist's journey, it can feel like a lot quite quickly, because often people are, you know, excited and there's a lot of momentum and they feel very encouraged, and they go from owning loads and loads of stuff to decluttering loads and loads of stuff in a very short space of time. And that momentum, that feeling of like changing your life, of like having your life in your hands like that, it can be a really, really nice feeling that has to inevitably plateau. You can't just keep on getting rid of stuff at that same rate, because you will have no things anymore. So I think it is important to consider exactly what minimalism is for you after the initial burst, because I think it's very easy to see minimalism and decluttering as the same thing. But once you have decluttered, minimalism has to become its own thing for you personally, for you specifically. It has to become its own thing, its own philosophy, and it's going to be tailored to you. It's going to be individual. So you need to put a bit of time into thinking about exactly what that is for you. How is it aiding you? What, after the decluttering process, what is it now? You know, what is minimalism for you? But to quickly summarize, I would say that minimalism has gone too far if the reasons that you sort of blindly follow it are because you are using it as a crutch because of the positive feelings it may give you, or because you have absorbed it so much into your identity that you are no longer making decisions because they are right for you, but simply because that is what a minimalist would do. That's what you think a minimalist would do or be or say or go, or go, my God. This is something I've seen a few people talk about, and I experienced it immensely right at the beginning, which is, you know, a big part of minimalism is valuing experiences over things, and that's great and everything. But then you inevitably want to go traveling. You want to spend 9 months in Thailand or whatever. And then there's a definite what minimalists do. And it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking that that is right for you. And often it isn't right for you. And I remember being quite frustrated at the beginning that I wasn't traveling and that I lived in a house and that was my life, all normal and that. But it's totally fine. Like being in the country you grew up in is fine. Not traveling is fine. Traveling is also fine. This is what I mean. It's about the individual. It's about you. It's about me. It's not about what minimalists do. So yeah, that's what I would like to say. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you are doing well. I have been doing a lot of music recently. if you would like to follow me on my Instagram, I've been sharing a little bit more of that kind of thing over there. I've been gigging, which has been very much out of my comfort zone, but I'm enjoying it, I think. It's difficult to know when you're sort of panicked and stressed, but I think I think I like it. I think it's one of those things that, you know, if you're able to look back retrospectively enough, you think, oh, I really enjoyed that. That was really good. But when you're in the moment, you're just thinking, oh, like that. So, yeah, I'm hoping that feeling will get less and less every time I perform. And it seems to be working, I think. So I need to talk about my music a bit more on this channel, I think, because especially I've sort of started incorporating the things I talk about on my channel with my lyrics in my music. So I do actually think there's a little bit of crossover there. So if you would be interested in me doing that kind of thing, like talking about my lyrics in the lyrics that are linked to minimalism and ethical living and all that kind of thing, could you leave a comment in the comments? Well, obviously, where else you can leave it? And I will, because that could be interesting. Or it could be like forcing my music at you. I don't know which one that would be, but if you could let me know, I'd really appreciate that. So I hope you're doing very well, and I shall speak to you soon. I hope you're having a lovely week, and I'll see you later. Goodbye. Goodbye. Camera's much further away, so not quite the journey to the off button. Here we go.
Roll up, let me embed a story that you'll never forget. A drip, drip, drowning in debt now. You can't buy your way out, and I heard you find it difficult to cope. Well, hereby this bottle full of hope and limited supply. Short